Hello, namaste everybody. Am I audible to you? Hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you. Thank you very much. I hope that we should start our meeting.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My dear friends, students, teachers, and experts, I firmly believe on one of the sayings. And the saying is that each and every dark cloud has a shining line. And the same is the truth in case of corona pandemic. Yes, corona has affected very adversely and very critically to the whole world. But again, we have come forward with some bright solutions. And the mission of government of Maharashtra, that is Shala Band, Shikshan Chalu. Schools closed, education continues, is a very powerful mission. And that has been initiated, that has been supported by the experts like our today's guest lecturer, and that is none but Dr. Prabhasoni. In the field of education, Dr. Prabhasoni ma'am is a name which needs no any other introduction. She is a very talented, motivated, enthusiastic, and committed teacher. And that's why I requested her to give your precious and valuable intellectual feast to the students of 12th standard. And instantly she said yes. Honorable Dr. Soni ma'am, I warmly welcome you. Now see, my dear friends, it is said that the mediocre teacher tells, a good teacher explains, a superior teacher demonstrates, and the great teacher inspires. Dr. Soni ma'am belongs to that fourth category who always inspires not only to the students but also to many teachers like me. It is also said that a true teacher is not just within the four walls, but is a teacher outside the four walls. So if we see the co-curricular and extracurricular activities of Dr. Soni ma'am, you will instantly come to know that that her horizons, her fields are vary from different aspect to different aspect. And that's why I really welcome Dr. Soni ma'am. Dr. Soni ma'am has served 36 years in the field of education. She has served many private schools, many junior colleges, as well as many senior colleges. She has attended many conferences, national conferences as well as international conferences, and presented successfully her research papers there as well. Translation is her field of interest. And one more very important thing is that she has also translated some of the poems which are there in the textbook of 12th standard. Soni ma'am has also completed her PhD in English, and the title of her PhD was Conflict Between Desire and Ethics in the work of Indian women writers, with special reference to Arundhati Roy and Shashi Deshpande. Ma'am, I heartily welcome you. Now we are going to learn here figures of speech from the very expert teacher. And I hope that you will enjoy the lecture. Actually, Soni ma'am's lecture will be her introduction itself. So I don't want to take your more time, and I would like to invite Dr. Soni ma'am to come and to deliver the lecture. Before that, we would like to tell you that after 40 minutes, there will be a break of 5 minutes, and then again we'll continue, and hope she will wind up in 2 periods of 40 minutes each. Dr. Soni ma'am, please welcome. Over to you.
Wish you all a very good afternoon. Wish you all a very good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
We are going to study figures of speech, because before I start reading any particular poem, I think without figures of speech, it is not possible because figure of speech gives the depth to the knowledge of the poet. It helps in clearing the meaning of it. So not only it makes the poem stylish, but also rhythmic, but also meaningful. So I hope today you are going to enjoy the figures of speech. And before that, I would like to ask you, okay, now what do the poems do? Poems try to express thoughts and feelings with the help of sound and rhythm. So you know how you remember your childhood poems. Why do you remember your childhood poems? Can anybody tell me? Why do you learn? Why do you still remember? Why do you still remember your childhood poems? Please help me in screen sharing, sir. The screen sharing is not coming there. Please enable it. Please enable
Gaurav,
it.
yes, ma'am. Gaurav, are you getting me?
Please try. I will continue. You try to enable it. I will continue. Okay. I will continue. I think it will be better if the screen share is enabled.
Yes, yes. Please continue, ma'am. He is trying. Hope.
Yes. Now, figures of speech. I hope you must be knowing some of the figure of speech. And today there are actually more than 26, 27 figures of speech. But I'm going to deal with only a few important ones, which are very much important for you for understanding the poems, as well as important from examination point of view. So please screen share, sir. I would like you to screen share. That is not enabling. So I will give you one by one. Let the screen come later on. If I am audible,
Ma'am,
I can.
ma'am, you can
Yes.
share it. You see the third option.
Okay, okay, yes.
Under the screen, there is the third option, that is screen share.
Yes, yes. I'm coming.
Yes, that's
Yes.
nice. Wonderful. All
Yes.
the best.
Now you see. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I must also be thankful to you for giving me an opportunity of presenting my PPTs here. So here they are personification, simile. I hope you can read it. Simile, metaphor, alliteration, repetition, onomatopoeia, antithesis, inversion, paradox, interrogation, climax, anticlimax, hyperbole, apostrophe, and euphemism. So these are a few one, and the rest of them I will show you now. And the rest are, they are also equally important, like synedoche, transferred epithet. So of course these are important from your examination point of view. Then irony, exclamation is of course there, exclamation, then pun, oxymoron, metonymy, litotus, epigram, fable, parable, assonance, consonance, and so on and so forth. So today we are going to concentrate on a very few important figures of speech. So don't need to worry. I will explain you in a very simple manner. So let us start with number one, that is personification. Now students, personification. From the word personification, what do you understand? The word person, it stands for human beings. So what can be the definition of personification? What can be the definition of personification? You see, when a human quality or a capability is ascribed, means is given to a living or a non-living thing. Now you can see the pictures. You can see the pictures of the dancing waves, a flower that smiles. The moon was traveling throughout the night, lightning in anger, harshness of the sun, defenseless sky. Now let us see one by one. Now you see, just look at the flower. Can a flower smile? Here it is shown that a flower is capable of smiling. Now in the exam, you will be asked a question, find out or identify a figure of speech and explain. So how will you explain this particular personification? So you will say, a flower is capable of smiling. The waves are capable of dancing. The moon is capable of traveling. Means like a human being. Then now instead of verbs, now you see smiling, dancing, traveling is there. But most of the time you may not have the verbs. So how will you explain then? So because anger, it's a noun. Harshness is a noun. So how will you explain this? So it will be, the lightning is capable of being angry. So you have to make an adjective of it. The sun is capable of being harsh. The sky is incapable. Now it can be a negative also. The sky is incapable of defending itself. The clouds have captured them. They have overpowered them. And so the sky, like a soldier, like a defeated soldier, he is not able to defend himself. So you see the pictures here. The waves are capable of dancing. The flower is capable of smiling. The moon is capable of traveling like a human being. And lightning is seems to be angry. So a father can be angry, a teacher can be angry, but an inanimate thing cannot be angry. So harshness of the sun. Now a parent can be harsh, the teachers can be harsh, but sun cannot be harsh. So sun is capable of being harsh, and the sky is incapable of defending itself. I hope this personification is clear. Shall I switch on to the next one? Now this is simile. Let us look at the the comparisons now. So there are two kinds of comparisons. One is a direct comparison and the other is indirect comparison. Now, when you have a direct comparison, that is called simile. From the word similarity, you can understand, you can see on the screen, you must have heard the poem, the nursery rhymes, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. So you see, what is compared with what? So I have presented you with both the images of a star and of a diamond. So whenever you have the words like and as, these words are used to show similarity or show comparison between two things. So like a diamond in the sky. Now again, the second poem, Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. So you see the fleece, the wool of the sheep is so white that it looks like snow. So the white color of the fleece is compared with the white color of snow. And then you have, our soldiers are as brave as lions. So you see, the soldiers are directly compared with lions. And the star is directly compared with a diamond. And the fleece is directly compared with snow. This is how you have to explain. Then there are other examples like, her cheeks are red like a rose. Just imagine. And this is very interesting. Watching this serial is like watching grass grow. It is moving so slowly that it is as if we are watching the grass growing slowly. Then they're fighting like a cat and a dog. So they are fighting like animals. He drinks like a fish. He drinks liquor to such an extent as if he is living in the sea of water. As a fish drinks water, similarly, he drinks alcohol. So he drinks like a fish. I have been working like a dog. So bull work which I have been doing. So like and as, with the help of these two words, we can show direct comparison between two things. Now, if you have followed this direct comparison, we can switch over to the next one, and that is implicit comparison or also you can call it metaphor. Now, what is metaphor? Metaphor is when there is an implicit comparison, or you can say indirect comparison. Now, how will you know that there is a comparison? Now, you look at these words: pearls of dew, folk lightning, sun-baked world. Now, you can see both the pictures, both the images are there in your mind. Presently, it is there on the screen. But when you think of pearls of dew, you have two things clear in front of you. One is the dew, which is formed when the water gets condensed on the leaves and the flowers, and they shine like pearls because of the sunlight. The rays of the sun, they fall on the drops of water, and they shine like pearls. So you see, pearls is also there, dew is also there, but there are no words like and as. So when there are no words like and as, and there are two words given there, so you can understand that there's a comparison between two things or two persons. So you see pearls of dew. Pearls is also there, dew is also there, but there is no like and as. Then folk lightning. Now you see, lightning is compared with a folk, the same folk with which you eat. South idli and dosa you eat, no? That folk. So you see, as the folk has various points, similarly the lightning, it flashes in various directions, and so it is implicitly compared with a folk. So you can imagine the folk is also there in front of you, and the lightning is also there. Then sun-baked world. So as you have seen the picture, earlier picture I have shown you, it is there on the screen. Now the sun is so hot that it looks like something which is baked, like a cake. So the world is compared with a cake, with a hot cake, and so it is called sun-baked. So that cake is also imaginary in front of you, and the world is also there. So there is an implicit comparison. Then a camel is a ship of desert. Now you see what is the similarity between a camel and what is common between them, between a camel and a ship. Now, as a ship is used for transportation in water, similarly a camel is used for transportation in the desert, and that is why it is implicitly compared with a ship. Then again, he has a sea of knowledge. So his knowledge is compared with a vast sea. The vastness of his knowledge is compared with the vastness of the sea. Her words were like knife in his heart. So her words were so painful, like just as a knife in somebody's heart. The children were flowers grown in concrete gardens. Now the children are compared with flowers. Then again, the calm lake was a mirror. Now you see, it's a beautiful comparison. The lake is implicitly compared with a mirror because it has the same freshness, same clarity, and same depth as a mirror. When we stand in front of the mirror, we become very thoughtful, and similarly it shows the depth of the lake, and that is why it is implicitly compared with a mirror. Now I shall proceed over with the comparisons. Now there is one more left here. Sometimes one word may be given and the other word may not be given. You see, just a minute, just give me 1 minute. Just 1 second. But sometimes, the one word is given and the other word is implied. That is, you have to guess what is compared with what. Yes. Now you see, here are the examples. Basket full of moonlight. Now you see, moonlight is there, but with what particular thing it is compared? It is not compared with basket, but it is compared with something which lies in the basket. Now, usually,
Nakul?
please mute yourself. Please mute yourselves. Yes. Now you see, generally
बोला
we
सर
don't
गायकवाड सर
generally,
अरेंज केलेले चांगले आहे ते
generally
लेक्चर वगैरे
we eat vegetables and fruits, but for a poet it is full of flowers. So now what is compared with moonlight? The moonlight is implicitly compared with the flowers, and the flowers are implied through the word basket. So I hope it is cleared. Now one more example, winged burglar. Now what is compared with what? A burglar. You can see the picture of a burglar, a thief. Now with whom the burglar is compared? With someone or something which has wings. And what can be that? It can be a butterfly or it can be a bird. Now which particular bird is compared with a burglar? This is a cuckoo bird, which is called a winged burglar. Now I will give you some background about it. Now see, what does the burglar do? Wherever he goes, wherever he approaches, he takes into possession whatever comes in his hands. And that is why this particular bird, wherever the melodious voice of this bird reaches in the landscape, it wins the hearts, it captures the hearts of the people. So as a burglar is capable of capturing the things around him, similarly, the bird is capable of capturing the hearts of the people. And that is why it is implicitly compared with a burglar. But the bird is not mentioned here. So it is an implied metaphor, or you can call it a verbal metaphor, because that particular thing is not clearly mentioned. It is implied through wings. And the flowers are implied through the word basket. Another example here, you can see the picture of a satellite. This bird is also called as winged weather satellite. Now why this cuckoo bird is compared with a satellite? Because it is capable of giving the forecast of the approaching monsoon. What does the satellite do? A satellite, it gives you the prediction of the weather. Similarly, the bird, it comes before the monsoon and it gives you the message of the approaching rainfall. And that is why it is compared with the weather satellite. And it is suggested, the word is suggested through the word wings. So I hope you have followed what is verbal or implied metaphor. Two words are not directly given. Only one word is clear and the other is implied. I will give you one more example from a Hindi song. You must have heard that song. ये कौन चित्रकार है, ये कौन चित्रकार, ये कौन चित्रकार है. Now what is compared with what? Can you tell me what is compared with what? God is compared with an artist, right? God is compared with an artist. In the entire poem, there is not a single mention of the word God, but it is referred by the word ये झरने, ये पौधे, ये वादियां, everything is mentioned. पूरी कुदरत mention की हुई है, but कुदरत का नाम ही नहीं है वहां पर. So God is hidden there somewhere, but the nature is described. So God is implicitly compared with an artist. I hope this has brought some thinking cap on you. Now we shall talk about the sounds. Let us talk about the sounds. First, we will deal with alliteration. Now, what is an alliteration? When sounds or letters are repeated. When sounds or letters are repeated and it is for a good sound effect. Now, you see the examples here. A great, wide, wonderful world. You see WW is repeated very pleasingly. So in the exam, if you are asked, point out or identify the figure of speech and explain. So how will you explain this? You will say the letters or sounds are repeated pleasingly. One more example, he sells seashells at the seashore. Now, which particular, there's not one letter or a sound repeated, but there are two sounds which are repeated. One is sir and the other is sh. Sir is repeated twice, sell, see, and again see. So S is repeated thrice, and sh, shell and show. So sh is repeated twice. So you can write the sounds sir and sh, put it in single inverted commas, are repeated pleasingly. Then again, winged weather satellite, which we have seen. The sound or the letter W is repeated. Whoosh, whoosh of washing machine. Now you see there is alliteration also here, but also now how many times this sh is here? Sh, sh, and again in washing machine also there is sh, and again in machine there is sh. So 4 times the sh is repeated. And one
Ma'am,
more.
may I disturb you?
Yes, yes,
Ma'am?
please. Yes.
Now, after 1 to 2 minutes, the meeting will be ended. And so
Okay.
that we'll take the gap of break of 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yes. So after
And
this alliteration, we shall continue with the repetition, that is the next one, after a gap of 5
assonance.
minutes. So I hope
So
here in this, yes, in this particular whoosh whoosh of washing machine, you will not only find alliteration, but also there is repetition of words. This entire word whoosh whoosh is repeated, and that is the difference between alliteration and repetition. In repetition, you see the entire word or a line, so many times a line is repeated. And after the break, we are going to see the examples of repetitions. So we shall stop here for some while for a break of 5 minutes. Okay.
So, dear students, learners, and teachers, after the break of 5 minutes, we'll come together and hope you must have enjoyed the first session conducted by the Honorable Resource Person, Dr. Soni ma'am. And in the next session, she is going to deal with the rest of the figures of speech. I request all the students, teachers, learners, and experts that they should ask their doubts at the concluding session so that it will be more interactive session.
Interactive, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, because ma'am always loves the interactive sessions, which I personally have experienced in her training programs conducted at district level, divisional level, and state level also. So it's my humble and honest request to all the participants. Please again join for the second session, and that is going to be more interactive. And ma'am would request you to insert your superb Hindi. बीच बीच में आप हिंदी का अगर इस्तेमाल करते हैं तो it will also grow the fragrance. Enhance.
So I shall start. Now, what is repetition and how is it different to alliteration? Now, alliteration is only sounds of words, and the importance is to show the sound effect. But here, repetition is there for a good poetic effect. Sometimes the repetition is made not only for good poetic effect, but also to lay emphasis. Some point the poet wants to emphasize. Let us see how it goes. Now you see the examples here. First, I will take simple examples. If you think you can do, you can do. Work, work, and work is the only key to success. Even sun and wind, sweat and flies, but not this, not this. Then again, whoosh, whoosh of washing machine. The kitchen smell goes round and round. Now you see here in these particular sentences, only words are repeated. But I will give you a poem in which the entire line is repeated. The poem is In Search of Identity. The name of the poem is Who I Am. Very funny name, Who I Am. And the subtitle is In Search of Identity. Now you see, these are the lines. You please listen carefully. The lines go like this. Going by my passport, I am called an Indian abroad. Going by my passport, I am called an Indian abroad. But in my own land, I do not know who I am. Now, you see, after every 4 lines, you will find the same line, who I am. Beyond the Vindhyas, I am called a Saudi and more often a Madrasi. I speak Malayali and that I speak Malayalam and that is why often I am called Malayali. Please tell me who I am. And in the end, he says, please call me an Indian. Please call me an Indian, and so that and do with it means finalize it by calling me an Indian, so that permanently for good I will know who I am. So you see, after every 4 lines, this line is repeated. So what does he want to emphasize here? Loss of identity is emphasized. So many times it is not just for good poetic effect, but also, of course, it adds to the poetic effect. But so many times it is for laying emphasis. Now here also, even sun and the wind, you can read those lines. Even sun and wind, sweat and flies, but not this, not this. It is a mother complaining to her son in the poem, "Where you have brought me to, O son." In this particular poem, the poet, the mother, she is so much fed up of the city life that she says, "I want to go back to my." She wants to go back to her village or from a small town from which she belongs, and she says that I would tolerate the sun of the hot sun of the village, the wind also, and the hard work which I have to do there, and even the dirt of the village will do. Even the flies will be tolerated, but not this culture, this poor culture, this dirty culture of the abroad countries, which she can see in the big cities, or maybe she has landed in the foreign country. So she hates that. So what is emphasized? Hatred for the city life is emphasized, but not this. So some or the other thing is emphasized whenever there is repetition, or you can simply write the repetition is made for a good poetic effect. Now let us switch on to another sound, and that is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. Okay, now what is this onomatopoeia? You see the spelling. The spelling is better. The spelling is so difficult, but the pronunciation is very simple. It is onomatopoeia. And how will you define it? I have made a simple definition. When a sound is expressed through the word itself to provide a special effect. Now here I have taken these lines from the poem Sudden Storm. See how the poem starts. The wind howls. Now what happens when a sudden storm approaches? The wind howls, the trees sway, the loose housetop sheets clatter and clang, the open window shuts with a bang, and the sky makes night of day. Now just find out, is there anybody who can tell me where are the words which are expressing sounds in this? The wind howls. You see howl, the cry of a dog. So the word expresses the sound of a dog. So the sound of a dog, the cry of a dog or an owl is implied. Then the trees sway. Now this is sway, shwai of the trees, the brushing of the leaves and the branches of trees with each other. That sound is produced, that is expressed. Then the loose housetop sheets clatter and clang. The screws of the housetop sheets have been removed, and because of the strong winds, they are not there. So they have loosened, and so they are the top sheets are making the sound. The tins are making the sound.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking.
That karkar awaz is there, clatter and clang. Now can you hear me? So this clatter and clang, these sounds are expressed through the sound of the tins is expressed through the words clatter and clang. So you can mark this onomatopoeia. Then the open window shuts with a bang. Dan karke. So this bang sound of the sudden shutting of the window, that sound is expressed. And then these are the examples, and the last one I will take it afterwards because this suggests something else. This line suggests something else that we shall deal just immediately after this. Then there are a few more examples like ding dong, the bell rang. So the ding dong sound of the bell is there. The leaves move fluttering along with the wind. So the sound of the dry leaves or the sound of the wings are expressed with the help of the word fluttering. The gushing waterfalls, the gushing sound. Then boom, boom went the dynamite. So I hope you can easily identify this particular figure of speech. So I shall now deal with antithesis. Antithesis. Now let me bring on the screen. Now see, you read these lines, the lines which we have dealt with just now. The sky makes night of day. The sky makes night of day. Can you identify antithesis here? Antithesis now, antithesis. Anti means opposite. Thesis means words. So you can easily remember now, when you say antiseptic, antibiotic, then that is antithesis, just working opposite. So when opposite words are used, or when opposite ideas are expressed, when opposite words are used, am I audible? When opposite words are used, or when opposite ideas are expressed, that is called antithesis. Now, here I am giving you certain examples. Young and old, hot and cold, you can easily identify. Dark and bright. Now you see here you see in these next two lines, you will not find the words, but you will find the ideas, opposite ideas are expressed. Even the sun and the wind sweat and flies, but not this, not this. Now, whenever you have this word but, okay. So, but in my own land, I don't know who I am. So here opposite ideas are expressed. He wants the Indians to call him as an Indian. Okay. So now we shall switch on to the other one, that is inversion. This is very important. Most of the poems of your textbook, they have inversion. Now it is your duty, once you are over with all these figures of speech, it becomes your duty to identify it and you see how you will explain. Now inversion. When the words are not placed in the correct order of sequence. Now what is the correct order of sequence? When you say a particular sentence, the subjects come before, then come the verbs, and then comes the subject, or you can say complement, or it can be any complement. Let us take a few examples. So that you can understand what is the correct order of sentence. If I say birds fly. So birds and fly. Only one subject and only one verb I have taken, and the sentence is clear. An example. Bird builds nest. Bird is the subject, build is the verb, and nest is the object. So I have added object here also now. Now in the third sentence, I am a boy. I am a student. I am a lawyer. So here you see, I is the subject, am is the verb, or lawyer is not an object. It is noun complement. I am at home. Home is noun complement. I am in the classroom, noun complement. Then a lion is a huge animal, or you can say a lion is a dangerous animal, an elephant is a huge animal. Whenever you have adjective in the sentence, you can take it as an adjectival complement. And then let us talk about adverbial complements, like he fell down, he climbed up. So this up and down shows where the action has taken place. She came early, he came late, today, late, early, etc. These are adverb of time. And then she walks gracefully, he writes neatly. So these are the neatly, come fast, don't be slow, so slowly, fast. All these are adverbial complements. So here you put a full stop and the meaning is complete. But if you see in this inversion, words are not placed in correct order. The subject may come anywhere and the object may come anywhere and the verb also may come in the end. So why this incorrect order is there in the sentence? So it's actually a poetic license given to the poet to maintain a rhyme scheme. because he has to add after every line, the sun of the first line should match with run in the second line. So to maintain this sun run, this rhyme scheme, the poet uses this inversion. So let us look at some examples. So fast he runs, no one can compete him. So he runs so fast that no one can compete him. An excellent decision she made there. She made an excellent decision there. She made an excellent decision there. So this is the correct order of the word. So whenever you have these inversions in the exam, you will be asked to identify, and you write the correct figure of speech inversion, and then you have to write the words are not placed in the correct order. And then you have to continue, the correct order is, and now you have to write the correct order of the sentence. That will give you full mark. Home skip the little children. The little children is the subject and the verb is skip, and home is noun complement. Helter skelter the parents run. Is there anybody who can give me the answer? Can you arrange in the correct order? Helter skelter the parents run. Is there anybody? Shall I proceed? Shall I proceed? Down they all came fluttering. So they all came down fluttering. They all came down fluttering. So this is how you have to put in the correct order. Then our next figure of speech is paradox. Now paradox, you will find your textbook open road. Just find out if you can see an example of paradox in the poem The Open Road of Standard 12th. So this is your homework. Now what is paradox? Paradox is not the same as antithesis. Antithesis is just opposite words. But paradox is something different. It is when two absurd situations, when two absurd situations are laid side by side to evoke laughter. So देखिए paradox का objective होता है to make you laugh, but antithesis का जरूरी नहीं है कि आप हंसे ही. जैसे कि for example, and the sky makes night of day, and the sky makes night of day and night. So you don't laugh. But here look at the example of paradox. You look a ghost and an angel. Can it be possible? Either a person can look a ghost, or he can or she can look like an angel. Your heart is fire and snow. Fire and snow. It cannot be at the same time. Fire and snow. Nobody goes to that bar. You see the humor here. Nobody goes to that bar. It is too busy. Now see, nobody goes to the bar and say it is too busy. Can't be possible. The animals were all equal. This is from the from George Orwell's The Animal Farm. This particular sentence. The animals were all equal, but some were more equal than others. Can it be possible? If all are equal, then how can we be more equal than others? So there is no equality. Then this is from Hamlet, Shakespeare's Hamlet. I have to be cruel in order to be kind. How it can be possible? If you have to be kind, you cannot be cruel. I shut my eyes so that I can see. How you can see with your shut eyes? So here, I hope I will give you one more example in Hindi if you want. See, one person says, I cannot write beautifully or neatly unless the table is shaken. जब तक टेबल हिला ही ना जाए, मैं अच्छा लिख ही नहीं सकता. How is it possible? या तो टेबल ही हिला लो, या फिर सुंदर ही लिख लो. So you see, when these two absurd situations are played side by side to evoke laughter, that is paradox. Now, here I would like to read out some funny examples. Consultant is a guy who knows 40 ways to make love, but doesn't have a woman. So he is not married, but he knows 40 ways of making love. then as I said before, I never repeat myself. How is it possible? I said before and I say again that I don't repeat myself. So again, this is an example. Then last one, I am going to start thinking positive. I am going to start thinking positive, but I know it won't work. So how can he be positive when he knows that it won't work? So he has the actually negative attitude and still he is saying that I am going to start thinking positive from now onwards. I hope you enjoyed for paradox. Shall we proceed to the next?
Yes.
Oxymoron.
Sure.
Now, oxymoron, this is not there for your exam, but only for the entertainment purpose. I will read out some oxymorons and see how they are different to paradox. In paradox, you see the words are not placed together. They are somewhere here and there. In some places, it can be in the beginning and the other word is in the end. But here in oxymorons, both words, the opposite words are stuck closely to each other, like fully empty. Now, either a glass can be full or either it can be empty. Serious joke. Either it can be serious or it can be a joke. Foolish intelligent. It can't be possible. Open secret. If it is a secret, then how it can be open? Living dead. It should be living or either it should be dead. Endless hour. How can an hour be endless? Hour is limited to 60 minutes. So endless hour. Big baby. Either it can be big or it can be baby. Kind cruelty. Act naturally. If you are acting, then how you can do it naturally? Then the room held a deafening silence. Either it should be it should be full of noise or it should be silent. So these two words are stuck to each other, and that is the two contradictory terms they are used together to evoke laughter. I hope you have followed this oxymoron also. Now let us talk about interrogation because this is there in your textbook. So interrogation is very easy to identify because of the question mark. So sometimes the question is used or sometimes, just a minute, I will put the screen. Now interrogation, whenever you find a question mark, you see you can easily say that yes, it's interrogation. So sometimes a question is used and sometimes a question may be raised. It may be to lay emphasis or for a special effect. For example, yes. Can you read that interrogation? Can you read that interrogation?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Okay.
We can.
So here, can you tell me who I am? Just now I have referred, and that's why I'm taking the same lines. Where have you brought me to, a son? Directly the mother is asking the son. Means she doesn't like that place, and that is why she's emphasizing, hatred is emphasized in this particular question. So where you hai, ye tu mujhe kahan le aaya? Means I don't like this place. Then rhetorical question. Now what is the difference between an interrogation and a rhetorical question? Now in interrogation, the answer is not known. When you're asking somebody, you don't know what is the answer. For example, what is your name? So you don't know until he answers. Where are you coming from? How old are you? So all these questions are interrogative. But a rhetorical question is that in which the answer is implied in the question itself. For example, can gold make a country great? Now what do you want to say by this? Can gold make a country great? You mean to say gold cannot make a country great. So how you are going to be asked in the exam? You will be asked, make it affirmative or make it assertive. Simply assertive. Assertive because it can be affirmative and negative. So when the question is positive, the answer has to be assertive, answer has to be negative. For example, can gold make a country great? This is positive. The answer should be gold cannot make a country great. So you have to use the same helping verb which you have in the question. How can I know who I am? I can never know who I am. So you see, you can do it even in your text. Not only it is pertaining to the poems, but also they may be asked in your chapters. Okay, now let us talk about exclamation. And that is also very easy to identify because of the exclamatory mark. Now, what is exclamation? When ideas or words are they express strong emotions or feelings. For example, how sad it is to cry alone. Ah, you will miss us. Right well we know. A strong feeling of sadness is expressed. Oh God, I am dead. So again, a strong feeling of sadness is expressed. I hope you can find out the examples from your poems, and that is your homework now. Okay, now let us talk about climax. This is very interesting. Climax is like a story, because when you see a movie, you can see how the ideas are arranged in an ascending order. First, the people come and stay together, they live very happily. Then a villain comes or some situation occurs, and then it leads to climax, and then immediately the story ends. This comes before the end. So the ideas are arranged in an ascending order. For example, he came, he saw, he conquered. Just a minute. Let me put the screen. He came, he saw, he conquered. Now I'll give you one beautiful example from the poem Siddhartha and the Swan. This is a story, narrative poem, in which the childhood name of Gautam Buddha is Siddhartha, as you know, and he was sitting in his garden of roses, and his cousin Devdatta, he shot an arrow at the birds, the swans which were flying in this on the blue sky, and he just shot it, and as a result, the bird came down and fell amongst the roses. So you see, now all these ideas are arranged in an ascending order. He saw, he aimed, and then he shot, and as a result, it came down and fell among the roses. Siddhartha, when he saw the bird, he picked it up in his kind palms and applied cool leaves and healing honey on the wound. So see, ideas are arranged in an ascending order. Sometimes even the words are arranged in an ascending order. See the line which is written in red. Please read that line which is written in red. It is Amrita Pritam's poem, A Letter, in which she is asking the rulers and the scientists to avoid war. And so see how beautifully she writes. Before manufacturing lethal, deadly weapons like bullets, guns, and atoms, read this letter. Now you see the words are arranged in an ascending order. पहले bullets, गोलियां, फिर guns, and उससे बड़े atom bomb. So sometimes the words are arranged in an ascending order. Sometimes the ideas are arranged. For example, here you can see. I think you can read. When Siddhartha saw the bird, he picked it up with his kind palms and kept it on his lap and applied cool leaves and healing honey on the wound. When he saw the bird, his cousin, he aimed and shot the bird with his cruel steel. As a result, it came down and fell among the roses. I hope this climax is clear. Now we can talk about anticlimax. It is just opposite. It is when the ideas are arranged in descending order. So look at the same example. Even the sun and the wind and sweat and flies. So the biggest thing is sun, then comes wind, and then sweat, and then flies. The smallest thing comes in the end. And then there's a very interesting poem which I would like to read here, because also that will be helpful for learning hyperbole. So I'm going to take the same poem to explain you hyperbole and anticlimax. The poem goes like this. There was an old man and a woman, as you can plainly see, and one day he said, the work you do in 3 days, I can do in 1 day the work which you do in 3. And then, okay, the woman said, let us take this, I will take the challenge. We will exchange the work. And they exchange the work. Now the woman, she goes with a stake in her hand to plow the field, and the man is allotted 3 work. One was to go and feed the pigs in the sty, and first one was to go and tidy the milk, milk the cow, and the name of the cow was Tidy. And then he was said that often our hen lays eggs in the neighbor's house, so you have to mind that speckled hen which always lays eggs in the neighbor's house. And then you have to spool the yarn which I have spun yesterday. So you have to reel that yarn. Okay, he said this is very simple work. And throughout the day, he's just, got frustrated. He gets frustrated because he is not able to fulfill any of the responsibility which was given to him. So he goes to the cow to milk it, and the cow hinges and flinches. It moves forward and backwards, and gives him such a blow that the blood starts flowing from the head to the toes. And then he goes to feed the pigs in the sty, and they move in such a disorderly manner that in his confusion he hits his head against the pole and made the blood to fly. And
Madam,
then, yes.
Madam, excuse me, only 3 to 4 minutes are to go.
Yes, okay.
Is it possible to wind up?
Yes,
Or
I will wind it up. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I will wind it up.
Okay. No issue.
Okay. So in the end he says, I swear by the sun and the moon and the trees and the leaves and every honeybee, if my wife doesn't do the work for a day, she will never be ruled by me. So you see the example of anticlimax here: sun, and then moon, and then trees, and then small things like leaves and honeybee in the end. So I hope you have followed what is anticlimax, and also hyperbole, where he made the blood to fly, and from the head to the toe he is filled with blood. So this hyperbole is exaggeration, nothing but it is exaggeration or an overstatement. Now, what is important? And apostrophe is there. I think you have in your textbook, so I shall deal with this apostrophe. When a person or an object is directly addressed, it is different to anticlimax, because it is opposite to exclamation, because students get confused between exclamation and apostrophe. In exclamation you have an exclamatory mark, but in apostrophe you have mostly double inverted commas, and some or the other person or an object is addressed. For example, come little leaves, said the wind one day, come over the meadows with me and play. The leaves are directly addressed. Then goodbye cricket, the cricket is directly addressed. I hope you can see that. Is it visible? No. Let me put it. So you listen carefully, because we are running of time. One more example. Oh moon, give me moonlight. Moon is directly addressed. Where you have brought me to, O sun. The sun is directly addressed. Now, last thing which I want to deal is transferred epithet. Now, what do you mean by epithet? Epithet means adjective or a quality. When a quality of a person or an object is transferred from one to another. The boy read with an eager eye. Now, it is not the eye which was eager, but the boy was eager. So how will you explain this? The eagerness of the boy is transferred to his eyes. Siddharth picked the bird with his kind palms. Kindness of Siddharth is transferred to his palms. You see, I am making the noun of these adjectives. Eager का eagerness किया मैंने, kind का kindness किया, cruel का cruelty है. He shot the bird with his cruel steel. The cruelty of Devdatta is transferred to the steel, मतलब arrow. Innocent butterfly. The innocence of a child is transferred to a butterfly. So I think this pun is not there for the exam, and then iron is also not there. So I think, shall we stop here? I think I have dealt with most of the important figures of speech, except for this synecdoche.